I thought it might be fun to interview somebody that I actually follow on Twitter. In this case, it's a person who doesn't really tweet a lot, but when he does tweet, I don't want to miss it. That's because, like a lot of you, when there's news breaking in my neighborhood, I want to know about it. In this case, Snohomish County here in Washington State. This person's name is Bill Gillam. This stop in the Twitterverse features a friendly smile, a classic train, and when news breaks,
a lot of my feed is a breaking story or a current event.
Followers aboard Bill Gillam's Express might feel they're on a fast-moving locomotive. Even mainstream media have punched a ticket.
Just as a result of that, I've developed a following, if you will, from a lot of the media reporters, writers, and assignment desk folks.
The engine fueling Gillam's timeline?
Can you refer them to investigation?
Scanners.
I've always been interested in what's going on around me in my neighborhood and the community. I've been involved in law enforcement and the fire service in my adult life, so I have a real interest, a genuine interest in what's happening, and I don't like to wait till 5 o'clock to find out what that series of sirens that blew by my house was.
Gillam's been listening to scanners since he was about 8 years old.
I remember my first scanner was a crystal-based scanner from Radio Shack, where you had to put in a crystal for each frequency. It's not as if I sit with these scanners just blaring all day long. A lot of times it's just a background noise to me, and I've got music going and I'm watching TV or playing my Xbox, but out of the blue I'll hear a change in tone in a voice or a tone, and I know that there's something going on.
On the day of this interview, something was definitely going on.
I heard some chatter after I came in the house, so I flipped on all the scanners and started trying to get a handle on what was going on.
No engagement. Shot fired. Shot fired.
And it quickly became apparent that there was a subject at large, possibly with a rifle, shooting at vehicles.
He's on his scope rifle. He's right in front of the house.
In the Jim Creek Road area of North Snohomish County. And that escalated very quickly to a full-on SWAT response, and there was multiple agencies involved.
A sniper in the woods.
The subject was apparently shooting at officers in the armored vehicle.
Bull to Sandman. Can you shoot this guy? If so, shoot him.
There was just multiple reports of gunfire.
Stand by. Shots have been fired.
It happened very quickly.
We believe we've got him. Suspect is down.
Being Labor Day weekend, the media really wasn't aware of this, apparently, because I was tweeting about it for probably the better part of an hour and a half before it really got any traction. In fact, a couple of my followers are on CNN or work for CNN, and that when CNN picked it up, I assumed that somehow they must have figured it from, obtained that information from my feed, because that was before a lot of the local media had actually gone with the story.
And Gillam says he's careful when deciding when to tweet, what to tweet, and what to leave out.
I don't want to jeopardize public safety. There's things that happen on the scanner. There's transmissions that are not appropriate to share when something's going on. Today, for instance, there was, things were happening quickly. Some of the tactical information that was going on, that didn't need to be shared in the event that somehow this guy was, monitoring Twitter, which obviously he wasn't, but if they're getting ready to deploy a certain charge or some of the tactics. I mean, they made a couple of comments early on in this event today that if anybody had a shot, to take it, to terminate the guy, and that was very early on. And there was no point in me saying that, because it's inflammatory. People might, blow that up a little bit, and if the guy had access, all of a sudden he's got nothing to live for. So why would I want to tweet that?
In this accelerating social media age, wherein citizen journalists often break stories, many mainstream media now closely follow the Bill Gillams of the world.
I don't look at it as anything unique. I think there's a lot of hobbyists out there that have been listening to scanners all across the country. It's a lot of folks are very passionate about wanting to know what's going on in their community.
TV stations know there is value in nurturing a relationship with someone who's so tuned in to what's breaking, what's hot. No wonder Gillam's been offered a tour.
Yeah, that's come up a few times, that they'd like to have me come down and take a walk through the station, which would be very interesting, and I would at some point that would be kind of fun, just because of the technology of the news gathering and the organization. I think that's neat. But the reason I do this isn't because I want to be coddled by the media, or I'm looking for any kind of special or unique friendship or relationship there. That's not really why I do it. It's very rewarding when somebody tweets to me and says, hey, thanks for that update. I just, saw your tweet about that accident. I'm gonna take 405. Or, oh, I was wondering why the trestle was backed up. Or something like that. I mean, that to me is just as flattering or positive.
Before agreeing to do this interview, Gillam asked whether I was shooting it for the mainstream media. I told him I was not. He told me he'd already checked out my blog, calling it fairly organic, then said I could come to his home for the interview.
This is truly a citizen journalist point of view for me. It's just a guy trying to get his perspective on things and put it out there. I'm not interested in really escalating it and becoming part of a story or putting my face in front of the camera for those reasons. I'm not part of the story. I'm making people aware of what's going on. The fact that I have stumbled upon a news story or tweeted about something that's happened, that doesn't warrant me going in front of the television and just telling my side of it, I don't feel.
And as for those scanners, just how long will he keep listening to them?
As long as I can listen to them, I'm going to probably continue to do so. I think it's really going to be limited by the technology itself. A lot of agencies are concerned about folks monitoring their activity, monitoring real-time incidents, and potentially having tactics or game plans shared with the bad guys or with the media and turning it into a media circus. Several agencies have gone to full encryption. Snohomish County has the ability to do that basically at a flip of a switch, which today surprised me, because usually when the SWAT teams are involved, they move the patrol units out and then switch over to an encrypted talk group, and that just basically eliminates your ability to monitor. I do see that becoming more and more of an issue, and as incidents become compromised because folks either tweet information that they shouldn't, or they discover that a bad guy had been monitoring police activity prior to a bank robbery or some sort of planned event, it's going to change the game. I think they've had problems with the scanner apps for the iPhone. People are using that, and because that's more readily available than the scanner, it doesn't require any programming ability. You download it, you press go, and say what city you're in, and you're able to monitor most of the groups. It's not as efficient as a program scanner, but so yeah, I think as long as I'm able to do so, I'm gonna monitor whatever agency I can monitor, just because it's entertaining. But I do see that becoming an issue over time.
With scanners on pretty much 24/7, you might wonder if Gillam has a more immediate issue.
Yes, I'm married, and she's had scanners in the background since we've met. I've always had scanner with me, just as basically a source of entertainment. And it's usually people who spend a little bit of time with me with the scanner. At first it's annoying, or they don't understand why I'm listening to it, and then I'll be talking to them and I'll say, hold on just a second. I'll tell them, you hear that? They're shutting the air down because this guy's barricaded subject in a house. It's right down the street, dude. That's right here. And people don't really realize that that's happening right around them, and a lot of this stuff goes unreported. And when you start to get a grasp on the things that are going on in your community, it's very interesting. So Karen, my wife, yeah, at least she tells me that she's enjoying it. So.
Gillam says he first started getting the attention of local media a few years ago, when he first started tweeting about the criminal exploits of an elusive local teenager, Colton Harris Moore, the Barefoot Bandit. That'll do it for this edition of Beyond 140. Mark Horner, Beyond90seconds.com.